Welcome to another video of Winning Tennis with your man, Chad. It's 2 or 3 or maybe 4 o'clock in the morning right now. And I thought I'd make a video. This is going to be a bit of a different video. It's not going to be an instruction video. It's going to be a question and answer video. I've been getting questions and frankly, I have the answers to all of them. So why not just jump right in and go into the first question? Hope you like the music. I picked out these particular beats, you know, kind of ambient house beats at night, chilling. All right, here's the first question. This is a little bit of a tough one, but I'm gonna go ahead and answer it. If the men are the best players on the planet, why do the women not imitate the ATP style? Do not understand why they persist with an inferior technique. Stuart Barnes. Stuart, that's a great question. The reason is, frankly, because coaches in the past thought that women did not have the power to pull off the ATP style forehand, which is the men's forehand. You know, I took a few lessons from a woman named Daria, who was ranked top 200 in the world one time. And she said, men take back, women loop. So by looping the racket back, you can create momentum and you're able to generate power that way. But when you take the racket back, you don't have that momentum. You have to create it by driving forward. So that's the reason. But more and more women are hitting with the ATP style forehand today. So, you know, I think we will see more and more women hit with that style, and I don't mind teaching it to my kids, you know, the kids that I teach, if they're female. So that's the reason. Okay, number 2. Have you got any advice for running backwards? Because many recreational players play doubles and are vulnerable to a deep lob that they cannot smash hit. Chris Constable. Okay, Chris. Yeah. What you want to do is when you see the lob go up, turn your body to the side. Right, if you're righty, you turn to the right. If you're lefty, you turn to the left. And you're going to cross step. Always make that first cross step when you have to go a long distance, and then you can shuffle back. If you have to run back, you have to run back, but you know, you can hit a lob unless someone's going to be hitting a lob within 3-4 feet of the baseline. You know, if you make a quick cross step back shuffle, you should be right there. You practice that. One other thing you can do is if you're playing a lobber, just stand a little bit further back. Don't be so close to the net. Number 3, this is on a video that I made about wrist lag and the ATP style forehand. This so-called wrist lag is not a new thing. ATP pros have been hitting that way for decades. Courier, Alberto Mancini, G. Perez Roldan, Thomas Muster, who was one of my favorite players back in the day, J.C. Ferrero, Sergei Bruguera. The list could go on and on. So I don't know why it seems to be looked at as if it's the reinvention of the wheel. Well, it's the way that the pros do it. If you look at Sampras, he had a little bit more of a loop, and he didn't place the racket strings face down like almost all the pros are today. I'm not saying all, you know, they all do. Take a look at Del Potro. He's like the odd bird of the equation. So he shows that anything can work, but they're putting that racket face flat down and then coming forward. And what they're doing is when they're driving forward, their wrist is snapping back. Whereas before, if you look at like Sampras or Agassi, when they came back in the loop, they kind of put their wrist into that 90-degree position and then went forward. So they didn't really have that same snap. And I know a lot of people have left comments on that video criticizing me and criticizing each other, but to me it's very straightforward. You know, it's the difference between this, if you can see this. When you come back, you have a 90-degree angle and then you go forward. Between having it like this and then the snap happens when you go forward like this. So it's almost like a ricochet, and the racket head is moving faster with the modern ATP forehand. But yeah, they all had that wrist lag, but they didn't have the wrist snap, the older players. Number 4, where are these courts? Meaning mine. That sunset is beautiful. Great videos. Thanu Rangratana. Thank you, Thanu. South Florida. Not going to disclose the exact location if you want to, unless you want to take a lesson here, then email me. I'll put my email address below. But yeah, it's really nice here. Beautiful courts. I'm originally from up north, and you know, I was sick of of paying a lot of money to play in bubbles. So here, you can play all year round. There are a lot of courts. Court time is so much cheaper. It's like $8 to $10 an hour. You can play for like 3 hours. But I have courts in my community. So, number 5, what kind of grip are you using for your forehand? I use the straight Eastern, forehand. So that's with the index knuckle on bevel 3. Most kids today are taught semi-Western. That's fine. Semi-Western's fine, but the older you go back, the longer you go back, see that people who are like 50s, 60s, in terms of age, they learned with a continental grip. Then, people maybe 40s like myself, started playing with the Eastern forehand, and then it started going to semi-Western. The trend. But, anybody could play with anything. So when I say anything, I mean you could have an extreme Western. Okay, number 6. Okay, I asked for a suggestion of a video topic in one of my previous videos. And the question is, my suggestion is demonstration of forehand knee bend for older 4.0 players. Specifically, what is the approximate knee flexion, 20 degrees, 30 degrees, for a respectable 4.0 topspin? Raul Tennis. Well, Raul, let me take a drink of this tasty beverage to wash this down, and then I will answer your question. Delicious. Lemonade, if you want to know. What is the approximate knee flexion? Well, I'm not going to break my protractor out, but I will say, bend a little bit. It's not necessary to get, yourself so low that it's uncomfortable, and you have to bend within the limits of your physical capabilities. I've always been more of like a stiff player. I don't have like great flexibility and bend and all that, but I bend enough to use my legs, and that's my answer. Number 7. This is a great slow-mo analysis, and I think this is from one of a forehand or backhand video that I made. But I have a question. In her book, Unstoppable, I didn't read that book. I've read Pete Sampras's book, I've read Brad Gilbert's book, I've read Andre Agassi's book, and maybe a few others. Maria Sharapova says she definitely hits flat to counter topspin players. Apparently, she learned this from Robert Lansdorp. And Robert Lansdorp, I think he was a guy out based in California, a coach who taught some really top level players. Yet in videos of Sharapova hitting, her strokes don't look any different from any other top pros. The last great female player to hit flat I know of was Tracy Austin, another Lansdorp prodigy. What, in your opinion, should we make of this? Is it advisable to hit topspin against topspin, or is it better to counter topspin with flat? Samuel Campbell. Well, thank you for your question, Samuel. I would say it like this. If you're a topspin hitter, you're going to hit topspin, and if you're a flat hitter, you're going to hit flat. If you have the ability to hit great topspin and flatten it out and be like an all type of hitter, when I mean like someone that can hit flat and someone can hit with a lot of topspin, that's great. This is my opinion of I'm more of a flat hitter, but I can tell you when I play someone with a lot of topspin, it is a little bit more difficult because when you hit flat and you hit the ball higher, it's a little more difficult. So if someone is hitting massive topspin to you and you have massive topspin, then it kind of equals out. But If you're a massive topspin player and someone's hitting flat to you, it's going to be a little bit harder to generate the topspin because the ball is going to stay low and skid. So you can, it just really depends on the shot. It depends on the height of the ball, what you're trying to do with it. There's no like one thing like, yeah, if they hit flat, you got to hit topspin, or if they hit topspin, you got to hit flat. Put it this way. The way I think of it is, if you're trying to get some margin in the ball, hit topspin. If you have a shot that you want to put away, hit it flatter. That's it. 8. Do you like the Lobster machine? Now, my friend Mike and I, we made a review video of the Lobster Liberty Elite. It's a ball machine I've had now for a couple of years, and I love that machine. Absolutely love it. It's been perfect. Never had any issues with it, and I wish I could use it more often. But with coaching and a business, and maybe another business I might be starting actually next week, yeah, it doesn't leave much time. Plus, I have a few league matches, so I wish I had the time to practice, really. I often think that if I won the lottery, I would probably get a coach. And don't tell me, oh yeah, you need a coach. No. Federer needs a coach. Djokovic needs a coach. I need a coach. I would get a coach at least 2 hours a day, maybe 3 or 4, and I'd be on the ball machine and I'd be practicing, and my goal would be to try to go as far as I can go in tennis, even at this age, because I feel like my movement is excellent and I'm a better athlete than I've ever been. But yeah, that's what I would do. The Lobster machine is great. I'll put a link in the description below if you'd like to purchase it. They go for about somewhere between $900 and $1,000. All right, we're up to number 9. I'm kind of wondering if I should break this off into 2 videos, because we have another bunch of questions. All right, I'm gonna make this the last question, and then maybe we'll do like a second one, because I don't know if you're gonna sit here for like 30 minutes or 20 minutes and listen to all this. Most people, when they see that, like 20-minute video, like, oh no, not that. All right, this is the last question. Great video as usual, but could you clarify something? And this was, I think, a video I made on never hit late again. So how to take the ball early. All of the shots that you played were balls that were going deep. You started preparation behind the baseline. Am I right in thinking that when you have to move to reach a ball that is hit short or wide, the sequence is move to the ball, then prepare? Chris Constable. Thank you again for your question, Chris. Well, the closer the ball is to you, the more time that you have to start getting the racket back on the forehand or the backhand. You can go into that right away, especially if you just have to take a couple of steps. But if you have to start running a distance, you're going to cover that distance by running to it, running first, and then you'll set up. There's no like one answer, like, yeah, you take 2 steps, then set up, and then the third, it's like this. I do it naturally, but if just watch the pros and you'll see that if it's a far distance, they're in a full sprint and then they just get the racket on it. But if they have time, they'll run to the ball and they'll slow up and take small steps and then set up maybe anywhere from 50 to 70% on the way to the shot. So they might run a little bit, but then as they start getting closer, they start setting up. It really just depends on the speed of the ball. It's a short ball, it's a wide ball, So I would just say, because I've seen people run to the ball and set up at the last second, just try to slow down if possible when you get to the shot. Try to stop, because there's so many people just run through the ball. Try to stop, set up, go back, look at the video I made. I might just put video of myself playing, so you can see. But just watch the pros, see what they do, copy them. They're the ones that are doing it the best. So I hope you found some value in this. I do get questions. They're left in the comments section, but I know not everyone reads the comments section. In this way, I get to share my answers all in one video, and I will be making another video, part 2. So if you want to see that, I will also put the link in the description. And I thank you so much, guys, for watching these videos. I'm not a former AT pro player. I study the game. I love the game. I play the game every day, except when it's freezing like it is today. We're going through like a freezing spell here on the east. So yeah, so please subscribe. I'm going to be putting out a lot more video content in 2018. Thanks.